What is up, everyone? We're back again, and today we are working on the Z again. We got something in from Stance Performance Suspension Systems. I went with some of their XR1 Coilovers. I stayed with the OEM styling because, in my opinion, I'm sure it doesn't matter, but I figured they made the rear suspension that way for a reason, so I'm not going to switch over to a true style coilover. I do know a lot of people do it, and it doesn't affect anything from what I've read. I know a lot of people who say it's bad to do that, but guess what? I'm going to stay with the OEM styling just so I feel safe. So we're going to unbox these and see what they look like. More boxes. Good thing I already opened them. So here we have the springs for in the rear. Sticking with the OEM styling like I was saying. And I'll get these other ones out in a second. So here everything is. Suspension out of the box. We have our rear springs that sit inside of the lower control arm or whatever it is. You have the shocks for the rear, and you have the coilovers for the front. So we're going to start by taking the wheels off, and we'll go from there and bang it out. So now that I got all the wheels off, I'm going to start by taking this brace off so I could access the upper part of the front coilovers, and then from there we're going to go down to the bottom, and then we're going to loosen up what we need to get it out, and yeah, let's hit it. Next I'm going to start by taking the top strut or coilover, whatever you want to call it, bolts out here, 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 and on the other side as well. Here, here, and here, and then I'm going to have to go down to the suspension, loosen some things up there, and then we'll be able to get these out. So after you end up taking the bolts out for the top, you're going to come down to the bottom here. You are going to remove that, I believe it is a 12mm nut for the brake line, and then you're going to come down here, and from there you have a 17 nut on this side right there, and a 17 bolt over here down there. Alright, so if you guys could see here, if this thing will freaking focus. Got the coil in on this side. Sorry I didn't show you how to do it. I got the other side to do still, so I will finish the rest of that. But like I said before, you did the upper bolts, you do the bottom bolt here, and then after that I had to take this, I want to say 12mm off for the brake line, and disconnect these little clip-in brake line things here, and after that I was able to get the coil out and pop this one in. I will show you guys on the other side. Now for getting the new one in on this side, I'm going to have my father stand on the knuckle here to get it to drop down a little bit. I am going to stick the coilover in there. I'm going to bolt up the bottom, and then after I bolt up the bottom, I am going to bolt up the top of the knuckle here, and then after that I'm going to jack the bottom of the knuckle up so I can raise the coil over into the holes there, put the bolts there, put the bolts on the brake section, and from there it should be in. Alright guys, so I got the rear shocks out. That was pretty easy if you ask me. It just was a matter of taking the lower, I believe it was 17mm bolt out from down yonder somewhere, right there actually. And then there was two 12mm up top, and after that the shock will pop right out, and now it's a matter of getting enough weight on here or disconnecting the upper A-arm to get this spring out. So we're going to go from there and we'll see what's next. Got really confused with the rears and didn't know exactly what I was doing, so I had to look up a video, I'm not going to lie. And what I found out was I had to obviously take the rear shock out, which I believe I explained, and then after that you have to disconnect if you're staying with an OEM style coilover, you just have to disconnect this 17 here and drop the, whatever you want to call this piece, and you could take the spring out and put your new ones in. But if you go with a true style coilover, you actually have to replace this arm for an adjustable one, and then you'll be good from there, because it actually gets rid of this whole bucket and spring deal. I took the pad from the bottom of the spring, replaced it onto the new spring with the Stance coils. I grabbed the top plate, put that inside of the adjustment for the top of the spring in the rear for my height adjustment. And then for the rear coils, or the rear shocks I should say, there's an adjustment right here. And right here, this connects to the top, so it could come up through the car and you could adjust it through the car. And I could have left it off, but I'm being anal and don't want to take the car back apart to do it all again. So there's this hole back here. There's this hole that a dart pops in to hold the piece there, and a dart pops into this hole as well. So what I plan on doing is bringing the adjustment through this hole, but the thing is I have to drill it out a little bit, because right now the adjuster cable thing, you want to call it, doesn't fit through it. It's a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch, so I want to say I'm going to have to make that hole about 5/8, throw some paint on there so it doesn't rust, and then I'll be able to stick this through, drill a hole in the interior panel so I can adjust it by opening the trunk, or hatch if you want to say, and yeah, then I'll be able to adjust it from inside the car. I don't feel like taking it apart, so I'll just get the drill bit from work and we'll be back tomorrow and I'll finish throwing these in. But for now, I think that's going to be a wrap for tonight, and we'll continue with this shenanigan tomorrow. We are back again, back at the Z, trying to finish this thing up. It is Friday, 2 days later. I had to help somebody with something on Thursday, but I got the drill bit. I ended up drilling out the hole for the adjuster extension, and now we are going to throw that and the other one in the car right now. This ain't gonna be easy. We're in. So now that I got that adjuster there, we're gonna Alright, so now that I got this side in and the spring in as well, I'm going to hop over to the other side, and then from there we're going to pop that side in and I'll be right back. So I got the rear shocks in with the springs and everything. I'm just new to the coilovers, I guess, so I'm not positive exactly how to set them up, because I have an adjuster on the top of the spring in the bucket and I have an adjuster on the shock body. So I'm not too positive on how to adjust them for ride height and all that stuff. So I'm waiting for my brother, who's going to give me a hand. And the fronts I do know a little bit more about because it's a true style. Here, boys and girls. Hello. Alright guys, so Zach and I tightened up everything for the coilovers, making sure the ride height is set. Well, set for now anyway. I'm just going to tighten up these 14 for the stabilizer bar. If I don't lose my socket and extension. Like I just did again. Alright, so now I'm going to pop the wheels on and I'll give you guys a little video of us jacking it down. So I totally forgot to film me putting it off the jack stands or any of that stuff, but I took it for a test ride with my brother and the suspension feels so much better than it did before. You hit a bump and it just sucks it right up. But this guy's out of here.
Hello, bye-bye. See ya. Have a good one.
So I think that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I know it wasn't too much or anything crazy, but I got a surprise coming for you guys tomorrow. I'm going to bring my camera to work and we'll see what new toy I'm going to be getting. So everyone have a good night. Feel free to drop a like, give a comment, subscribe, any of those good things, and have a good night.